Good day and welcome back to another DBZ Dokkan Battle video. In this video we're going to be taking a look at the Supreme Magnificent Battle and the stage against the GT Heroes Edition. So obviously, so far the Supreme Magnificent Battle Gathering of Super Warriors, I'd say, has been, barring like the Dokkan Chronicles, the easier of the events that have come out during the course of the 10th anniversary. Obviously still challenging, of course, to a certain extent and for certain levels of players and teams, but generally speaking, not necessarily, like, I would say, as challenging as the Red Zone, definitely not as challenging as the battle-hardened foes. So, look, that's not a bad thing. I'm glad that they're releasing a range of events and difficulties. I think it is absolutely imperative. Let's take a look at this event. There is a mission for this event to complete with a certain team. I'll be taking a look at that in a separate video. It's Inhuman Deeds. But for now, we'll take a look at the event. So it's one of those ones that's got quite a few multi-enemy phases. In fact, almost the whole thing is multi-enemy phases. So we have Goku GT, Oob GT. They're immune to stunning, sealing, attack down, defense down. And yeah, they're not too hard. Look. Goku supers for about 330, Oob supers for about 900,000. You want to take out Goku first because he gives Oob a boost to damage, but beyond that, nothing too crazy. They're both so low in health that it's not that big a deal. The next one is Goku GT, Pan GT, Trunks GT, and Jiru. Okay, so Giru. 4 enemies, obviously they all have similar health to the Goku and the Oob. This is one of those situations where AoE attacks is actually very useful. Because of how low the health pools are of these units, bringing yourself AoE attacks honestly is actually quite useful here. Looking at your Brolys, your Boos, anyone that can just kind of shuck out a 20 million super, probably going to put you into a pretty good space. Goku GT, Pan GT, Trunks GT, Giru, all immune to stunning, sealing, attack down, and defense down. Giru can seal you on his super, and that's really about it. Goku, Pan, Trunks, Giru, they all hit for about 840 on super, but because of how low their health pools are, because of, how quickly you can get rid of them, most times it's not a huge problem. After Trunks, Giru, Pan, etc., you move on to Gohan GT, Goten GT. This one, so they're both again immune to stunning, immune to sealing, immune to attack down, immune to defense down. This one's a little bit tougher because Gohan does lower your attack and defense on his super, which can be quite frustrating, can cause you some issues, and Goten raises his attack and defense, which isn't too much of an issue. They both hit for just under 1 million, but again, they do have increased health pools, but it's not anything too crazy. And because you have gone at least 2 or 3 turns by now, you've probably at least got your set rotations. So dealing with these guys is not tremendously difficult overall. After them, we take a break from the multi-enemy fights and head over to Vegeta GT. Vegeta, as always, immune to stunning, sealing, attack down, defense down. He does greatly raise his defense one turn on his super, but more importantly, he lowers your defense. This is always a very frustrating mechanic, especially if you are reliant on units with high defense, guard, etc., as it will impact how you defend. Not the end of the world, but is obviously something to consider when you are facing Vegeta. He hits for about 1 million on his super, has 40 million health, and hits normals of about 400k. Again, nothing too wild, but obviously, still respectfully a bit tougher, than the previous fights. I will say, because it's only one enemy, it does kind of feel almost not that big a deal, because, you're facing one enemy, and although he does hit harder, he doesn't hit so hard that, you can't even work around it. So, yeah. Then we move on to the next phase, which is Super Saiyan 4 Goku, Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta. Goku raises defense by 30% for 1 turn, causes immense damage to the enemy. They're both immune to stunning, sealing, attack down, defense down, and they both hit for about 1.2 million. Goku and Vegeta both also hit normals of about 450. So here we do obviously have the two of them. Definitely a step up from Vegeta. Both their health pools though only represent a little bit of an increase over Vegeta. So although there is the threat of a more powerful super, and although there is the threat from characters that are, you know, obviously stronger, and there's two of them, there's two different typings, it's just not as bad. And then finally we come to Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. Probably the hardest fight here. Hits 1.7 million, locks for characters, and does a critical hit when switching. Definitely the hardest phase. Literally the hardest phase, because he also greatly lowers your defense. Has 50 million health. The thing is, 50 million health nowadays is not a huge amount, and unless he absolutely locks your pivotal defender in place and then supers, chances are you'll be able to place someone that's strong enough to handle his super, and you'll be okay. That's pretty much it, really, to be honest with you. That's the win condition for Gogeta. So outside of him locking your character in place and supering the one character you don't want, you're pretty much good to go. Then you move on to Goku Spirit Bomb GT, immune to stunning, sealing, and defense down. He hits for 1.4 million, but his super has a countdown to a one-hit KO. But he only has 70 million health, and he's just not that difficult to deal with. Again, a unit that realistically I think could be challenging for certain teams and certain levels of player. But when you consider it in the grand scheme of the meta, just not too difficult. He's actually almost easier to handle than Gogeta, because you don't have any loss of control over your rotations. He has slightly more health, but he hits for less. So you're actually in a stronger situation than you are against Gogeta. So yeah, I found that to be pretty good. And then obviously finally we take on Goku Jr. and Vegeta Jr. They both hit for about 1.3 million. Both are immune to stunning, both are immune to sealing, both are immune to attack and defense down. And they hit for about 470k. So you come like full circle downwards, with pretty much both these units being weaker than Gogeta. So it's an interesting fight, because obviously it starts out, gets stronger, goes all the way up to Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, the strongest version, which does make sense, I guess. He's definitely the hardest part of the fight, and then it starts to stem down a little bit again. For me, yeah, any top tier team will be fine here, more than fine here. USS, movie bosses, uncontrollable power, planetary destruction, Majin Buu Saga, Majin Power, Super Saiyan, movie heroes, fused fighters, like any of those premium top tier teams is going to be really reliable here. So I don't really think players will have an issue here, as long as you're using, like if you're using any unit pretty much from this anniversary, chances are you're probably not going to have any issues here. So I don't see there being any problems. Obviously it just depends on like you as a person, your team, your roster. As always, I went with the USS team just because of the consistency of the team, the ease of the team to use, and the fact that there's multiple solid tanks that could handle the Gogeta phase without me having to really worry about, ooh, am I going to be caught unawares or off guard. But yeah, that's it from me. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Till then, take care, stay safe, and bye.